how's it going? It's Sean Bradshaw from cyberfret.com, and in this lesson I'm going to show you kind of my go-to chord for an F sharp minor sound. All right. If you see an F sharp minor in a piece of music, a lot of times there's no basic kind of open position kind of cowboy chord for an F sharp minor, and so a lot of times people then in turn kind of go towards a bar chord for playing an F sharp minor kind of sound. But what I'm going to show you now is kind of, if I encounter an F sharp minor, kind of the chord that I go to, especially on an acoustic guitar. And this does require some use of your thumb, and so if you have a small thumb or a small hand, this may be a little bit difficult, but I'm actually going to show you kind of a couple of ways that you can do this. Now, the name of this chord is called an F sharp minor 11, or sometimes referred to as an F sharp minor 7 with a tension 11. And don't worry about all the theory. It's basically an F sharp minor 7 chord with a little extra flavor to it. All right. And so how we're going to play this is, let's get your fingers down first and then kind of worry about your thumb. What I want you to do is put your third finger on the 5th string at the 4th fret, your pinky right underneath that on the 4th string at the 4th fret, and then your first finger on the 3rd string at the 2nd fret. Now, if you just kind of strum 5 strings right now, that in itself will work for this F sharp minor 11 sound. But if we really want to get a deeper sound and actually get the F sharp in the bass, what you have to do is actually reach around with your thumb and play that note on the 2nd fret of the 6th string with your thumb. Now, that means that you kind of almost put your whole palm on the back of the neck. And, you may find that this is a very difficult chord to play, like I said, if you have some small hands, but it's also a fairly common chord. You see this happen a lot. It's not just my go-to chord for an F sharp minor sound. A lot of guitar players kind of go for this because you get that nice sound of those open 1st and 2nd strings here, rather than, just this boring old F sharp minor bar chord here. All right. So you may curse that also. So you can curse both of these chords. All right. But, this kind of gives a real nice sound. And that little groove I was playing in the beginning, I was just going from the F sharp minor 11 chord to an E, and then to what I call a D sus2 / F sharp. All right. It's technically a D add 9 / F sharp, but I kind of think of it as this basic D sus2 chord, which is like a D chord without your 2nd finger, and then I take my thumb and actually play the F sharp note on the 2nd fret of the 6th string. So you get a 2-for-1 cool chord today. All right, but so that's a little groove that you could play around with. I have a jam track on this page where you can play along with that. But now I'm going to show you, if this is kind of a handful for you to play, I'm going to show you kind of a couple of other quick ways or easier ways that you can play this F sharp minor 11 sound. All right. And the first one, I'm going to do another one that involves your thumb. So a lot of thumb chords today. And that is, if you know how to play a basic A sus2 chord, that's kind of like an A minor chord without your first finger, and you strum 5 strings, and that's called an A sus2 chord. Well, if you reach your thumb around and you play the 2nd fret of the 6th string and strum all 6 strings, well, that is an F sharp minor 11 chord as well. So you can take something that you do know, if you know this A sus2, and just reach around and play that F sharp with your thumb, and you have F sharp minor 11. All right. And if you really don't want to mess with playing things with your thumb, you can actually use your second, third, and fourth fingers. So you put your second finger on the sixth string at the second fret, third finger on the fourth string at the second fret, and pinky on the third string at the second fret. You can get that fifth string open, or you could mute it if your second finger doesn't quite get enough on the tip to get that fifth string open. It's okay if it's kind of silenced a little bit, get muted out. All right. But then I also, I'm going to get that first and second string open. This F sharp minor 11 sound and this have a very similar sound. So, you want to really know both of these ways of doing this. There's certain situations where one might be more beneficial and the other one might be a better fit in a different situation. So that's kind of three ways that you can get away from playing this old boring F sharp minor bar chord. Is you can do my thumb method here, all right? Or if you can't reach around with your thumb, just play 5 strings. Still a nice sounding kind of F sharp minor 11 sound there. And then we had basically the A sus2 chord, but reaching your thumb around and playing the second fret of the sixth string with your thumb. And then the other way was using your second, third, and fourth fingers on those same set of notes. You could also try your first, second, and third as well. That's kind of an option. It just depends on where you came from and where you're going. So, sometimes the same chord can be played, with 3 different fingers, just depending on, the context of where it is. All right, so, as a starting point, you can kind of take that jam track and chord progression that I was playing in the beginning and kind of work with that. And if you run out in the real world, if you run into an F sharp minor chord, then try plugging this one in and have some fun with it. Have a good one.